Okay, picture this. Buying a diamond on a whim. Kind of like you'd buy a new pair of shoes. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's the world we live in now, all thanks to lab-grown diamonds. Now, these are chemically, physically, exactly the same as mined diamonds, but they are causing a massive disruption that's shaking up a centuries-old industry. So that's what we're going to dig into today, how this is all happening, and what it really means for the future of luxury. Just listen to this quote from a recent consumer survey. It says everything. I went to the store out of curiosity and loved the designs. The prices were low enough that I could buy impulsively. That last word, impulsively. A diamond? Bought on impulse? For generations, that idea was it was unthinkable. So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? How is an impulse buy diamond even a thing? And what does that mean for the entire industry? Because this isn't just a story about a cool new product. Oh no. This is about a huge shift in how we think about luxury, about value, and maybe even about who we are. To really get this revolution, we can't just start with the science or the technology. We've got to start with the people, the ones actually buying these things. And believe me, there is a massive generational shift happening right under our noses. This slide just nails it. It perfectly shows the two competing mindsets. On one side, you've got the traditional view, right? Jewelry as this hard asset, an investment, something you buy to hold its value. It's a status symbol. And on the other side, you have the completely modern view. Jewelry as a fashion accessory, a tool for self-expression, where what really matters is the design and having tons of choices. So here's the bottom line. We're moving from accumulating value to accumulating style. It's a total flip. I heard one manufacturer say they have to create 500 new designs a month for the Indian market. Compare that to just 400 a year for the US. That just shows you how fast this demand for newness, for choice, is exploding. And of course, the engine driving this entire thing is price. But as you're about to see, the story of how lab-grown diamonds are priced is, well, it's not nearly as simple as you might think. There's a paradox here. I mean, just look at this. The price difference is absolutely staggering. For a 1-carat stone that looks identical to the naked eye, we're not talking about a little 10 or 20% discount. No way. The gap is enormous. We're talking up to 90% cheaper. Yeah, you heard that right. A natural diamond that might set you back, say, $5,000, its lab-grown twin could be sitting right next to it for around $500. This completely changes the game, making a once exclusive luxury good accessible to almost everyone. So that leads to a pretty obvious question, doesn't it? With supply going up and the technology getting better and cheaper, what's stopping the price from just plummeting to zero? If you can basically print more diamonds, what makes them worth anything? The answer is fascinating, and I promise you, it's not what you think. It turns out the key to the future of lab-grown diamond prices isn't found in some fancy high-tech lab. Nope, it's found in a single city in India. Over 95%. Over 95% of what, you ask? That's right. Over 95% of all the world's diamonds, it doesn't matter if it was pulled from a mine in Africa or grown in a lab in China, almost every single one has to pass through the skilled hands and the advanced machinery of Surat. This creates this incredible single point of concentration in the global supply chain. And here is the kicker. That capacity, it's finite. Surat can only process about 4 million carats a month. It doesn't matter if the world produces 10 million or 20 million rough carats, they all have to get in line and wait to be finished in Surat. And this is the secret price floor. This bottleneck in Surat physically prevents the market from getting flooded with finished, polished stones, and that puts a brake on falling prices. For now, at least, this is the one thing stopping a lab-grown diamond from becoming just another cheap, worthless commodity. Okay, so if the physical supply chain creates a sort of price floor, where is the real long-term value created? Well, the answer isn't in the stone itself. It's in the brand that's built around it. This right here is such a crucial insight. If brands only market lab-grown diamonds, or LGDs, as the cheap option, they risk making the whole category feel cheap. The real win isn't just selling a discount diamond. It's about building this cool, aspirational brand around a totally new kind of luxury. And in the jewelry business, there's this one metric that investors are absolutely obsessed with. It's called the stud ratio. It's pretty simple. It's just the percentage of your sales that come from jewelry with stones in it versus just plain gold. A higher ratio means higher profit margins and ultimately a much stronger brand. Now look at this table. The connection is just undeniable. Brands with a high stud ratio, like Carrot Lane at 70%, get valued at 8 times their revenue. But a brand like Senko with a really low ratio gets just 1-time revenue. Lab-grown diamonds are basically the ultimate cheat code for boosting this number, and that is exactly why you're seeing so much smart money pouring into brands that focus on LGDs.
But it's not a done deal. Not yet. Despite the amazing price and the solid business logic, these brands still face a pretty big battle for the hearts and minds of consumers.
So what's holding people back? Well, survey data shows us the key psychological hurdles. The number one concern for 30% of people is resale value. Right behind that is this idea of prestige, that feeling that maybe they aren't real diamonds. And finally, there's still some confusion, with people lumping them in with cheap fakes like cubic zirconia. And this really gets to the heart of the whole debate, On paper, they are identical. Same carbon, same certifications from places like GIA, the same 4 C's of cut, color, clarity, and carat. But in our minds, the differences in where they come from and what they're worth later, those are massive. One is seen as this timeless asset from deep within the earth. The other is a piece of modern tech that, kind of like your phone, loses value over time. So if you're going to remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Lab-grown diamonds aren't just a replacement product. This isn't a zero-sum game. They aren't just stealing market share from natural diamonds. They are fundamentally growing the whole pie. They're creating totally new reasons to buy a diamond, like a gift to yourself or for travel, and they're bringing millions of new people into the diamond market for the very first time. Which leaves us all with one final question to think about. As our technology and our culture keep changing, how are we going to define value? Is it something that's rooted in a billion-year-old origin story, or is it found in the personal story that you choose to create and wear every single day?